Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pitch and bat repair video for you. We've been working on this Williams 1962 World Series pitch and bat machine from back in the day. Guess when it was made? 1962. I'm surprised you did not know that. Haven't you been paying attention? We've been working on this and we've done several videos. And we're getting to the end here, hopefully. I don't know. We've still got to do some cosmetic stuff to it, like the whole thing needs repainted, but that's no big deal because Joe's going to do that. We did a video where we worked down in the bottom of it in the mechanism board. We did a video where we worked in the back box of it. We did a video where we worked on the running man unit. We did a video where we worked on the pitching unit. And we've kind of got it doing its thing. If you saw the previous videos, then you know that this one has been heavily modified. This was one that was at the beach for like 50 years, apparently, here in South Carolina. And they had a whole line of them lined up where you could all play against each other. And whoever got 22 runs, or everybody that got 22 runs, won a stuffed animal that was hanging on the walls up above the machine. And so around here, we hear from people all the time. They'll come in the store and they'll say, "Oh, I remember playing the baseball games back at the beach down on the pavilion." This is the things they're talking about. This is one of the actual machines. So it's been modified a lot. So there's things missing, like the innings unit is missing, the mixer is missing that changes the speed of the pitches, and a few things like that. And then on top of that, it's got cosmetic issues. The artwork's all messed up. The backdrop is missing behind the little running man unit. They've taken the bat off of the control panel and just made it a button. So it's a little different than a pitch and bat that you normally would see. But we're trying to fix it up in the spirit of what's left here with it and what it was, how it was operated at the beach. Now, on the previous video, we worked on the pitching unit and we actually got the thing to work. And then I was lamenting at the end of the video that it was pitching the ball really slow, and that it should be faster, right? So it had a setup on the full fledged ones that hadn't been tampered with. It had a setup where it would throw a fastball, or a slow ball, or a curveball, and you had no way of knowing what was coming. So it made it harder to play because you didn't know what ball was coming. At the beach, they modified it where it just throws a fastball over and over again. And because of that, you can time it a little better, so it actually helped you get more runs. Now, that also, though, made it where they didn't have to work on the curveball or the slow ball. It was easier for them to operate like that, too, right? So the thing's been modified to make it where they don't have to work on as much stuff, and to make it where it works a little better the way they were operating it. Instead of just trying to get a score or win a free game, you were actually trying to win a stuffed animal. So, after the last video, I thought, we had that thing all apart, and we were so close to having it working right. It's just a little bit too slow. But I was thinking, when I took that thing apart, I heard a spring unwind, and that spring inside of there, if there's a spring, it must need to have some kind of tension on it, right? So I took it back apart after the video, and I turned the little cam a couple turns to wind up that spring and put it back together, and guess what? Wham! We got our fastball back, baby. Whew! Boy, that's quick. Now it's going to the left. If it consistently does that, you can actually adjust it. Looks like it's pretty consistently to the left, so I'll look into how to adjust that. But you can actually aim that a little bit, right, so that it goes true over home plate. So we got our bat working. We've got our pitching unit working. We've got our running man unit working. Watch this. Look at that. How cool is that? And we actually got the thing to score. Very cool, right? So we've got it up and working. It'll start a game. It will end a game. The running man unit works. The score reels work. The pitching unit works, although we may have to tune it to get it adjusted a little bit farther out. So now we need to get the bat unit to work. But before we work on that, I think what I'll do is we'll finally fix the problem up here. So they brought this, we're fixing this for a gentleman, and like I said, this was one of the ones I actually operated at the beach. And he brought it to us, and it's missing this center ramp. And this one has tape on it. These things were operated for so long, you just beat up at the beach. You know, there is a piece of plastic that's supposed to go back here with a hole in it right there, so that you can make a grand slam by landing in that hole. The super home run, I guess they called it on this one. That piece is missing, so I don't know if we can get that yet either. I'm gonna look that up. But what we can do is clean this up and replace these ramps, because they brought us an extra Playfield. So let's go check that, and we'll see if we can steal a couple of the ramps off of it, get those swapped in, get all those light bulbs working, and that will help us out. Then we'll have all of this where we can at least play it. We're going to have to take this off and paint it, just because some of the paint is coming loose. But that'll get where at least we don't have a big hole in the middle of the thing when we play it. So let's check out that other Playfield. Ooh, these aren't much better. That one, definitely not better. We're not putting that one on there. This one is no better than the one that's taped. And then it looks like we have one here that's still fine. Interestingly enough, the ones that are in good shape are in right field. I guess just because of the way people hit the bat, the ball would go over there more often than it would go over here. All right, well, we'll take the one off and put it in the middle, and then I'll see if they make reproductions. I don't believe they do, but maybe they do. We also don't have a bat, so we're going to have to order a bat. And this one is also missing the curve magnet. There is an actual magnet that mounts there, so as the ball rolls towards the bat, that magnet zaps it and moves it to the side. Ours is doing that on its own. Yeah, and so here's the other Mech board that we had. Now, if there's an extra Mech board and an extra Playfield, why would that be? It's because somebody has cannibalized one of the games at some point. So somewhere there is a cabinet that was so beat up they probably threw it away. So it's kind of sad, really, if you think about it. Okay, so I'll pull that one plastic piece off. I'll see if there's other ones that we can order, and we'll go from there, because I need to order the bat and everything anyway. And I'll see if I can find that plastic piece for the back and see if the customer wants me to put that on there, because it would change it from how it was operated at the beach, but it's a cool little thing that was originally in it that we could get to work again without too much work. Okay, so I pulled the best one out and put all new bulbs in, cleaned them from the back. Very cool. Let's see what the top looks like. So that's with all three in. I'm asking around online. These have been made before, reproductions. So these fit in several different games. And the three of them are identical, and it's just a little vacuum formed piece of plastic that's red tinted. So it's actually really faded. It was much more red before. So I'm looking around. All three of these are cracked. The one in the middle and the one on the right are passable, but the one on the left has red tape on it that they put on it in the arcade. They'll work how they are, but it would be better to have nice, good-looking ones in there, right? So I'm looking around online to see if I can drum some up. I'm also checking on the back piece. So I want to see what's available, and then I'll get in touch with the customer and see if he wants to do it. So that's that. This flap works, but it's broke by the one nail. So it's a little loose, which isn't the end of the world. And the Playfield we still have to clean up. I'm trying to figure out what was here as well. I'm trying to find a good picture of what was there instead of that wood, so that we can replace it and put the light bulbs back in there. I guess What probably happened was those got broken by a errant ball. You know, they probably played this thing millions of times. And a ball probably broke whatever was there. There was probably a little piece of plastic or something. And so they just blocked it off so that the ball couldn't hit it, maybe. I don't know. But it leaves the whole bottom of the playfield really dark. So kind of probably need to do something about that. We're going to leave the little sign. Important, call attendant when score reaches 25 runs. Score void if reel is red. So whenever you get around past the 2, or past the 4 or something like that, the reels, they had them painted red. That's just how they were operating it. So whatever. Okay, so like I said, I looked online for the plastics. There's none where I can just click a button, but I'm asking around, so we might be able to find some. All right, the baseball bat, they still used on Slugfest many years later. So that is actually still available brand new because you need it for Slugfest, which was the last of the Williams pitch and bat games. So we need to order that, but we need to look at the bottom of the bat and see what's missing, what's hanging. If you play the game, well, that was much slower. I don't think it liked that there was 2 in there. Remember, I've been lifting the playfield and stuff. Bam! It's gonna be hard to hit, buddy. Whenever you play it the way it is now, since we haven't done anything to it, whenever I hit the bat, it's hanging, right? So it's not working right. So we're going to start on the bat. I think we've got the pitching unit pretty good other than aiming it, which it could be because of that flap. That flap is loose, right? So we might have to mess with that. But we'll put that on the back burner for now. Let's move on to the bat unit. So here is the actual bat assembly. The coil looks just fine. Notice this big spacer behind it. I've had them before. I've had some pitching bats before, not one this vintage, but there's like there's something in there to make it do that. It's supposed to be like that. And then the plunger. It looks like what's happening is, first of all, we've got a lot of grease and stuff, but there's a binding issue. I'm trying to show you the problem, so we'll know if we fix it. There's a bolt there. See the bolt? And that bar is hitting it because the bat is too low. So if this were higher, I'm going to get grease all over me, but that's all right. It's like if that were higher, okay. Now it works. So what's happening is that thing has dropped down, which is the actual shaft that the bat mounts on. See, so if it's, whoa, if it's in the air like that, we're good, but if it's down like that, we're bad. So I got to figure out how we're going to keep that up. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I don't think the bat itself will keep it up because the bat mounts to the squared part. I think it stops right there. So there needs to be a washer or something. So maybe the solution is you just put a washer on it. But we're going to figure it out. So the way that we're going to figure it out is I'm going to start taking it apart. Because it's all greased up and nasty. It ain't right. So I'm going to start taking these C-clips off. Or those aren't, that one's a C-clip. I don't know what that is. That's a hairpin. We'll start taking it off and I'll lay it on the counter. Okay, so I got it out. So this shaft, or whatever you would call this, bushing, has a C-clip on it, so it stays in place. And this is the one that the bat mounts to on the top of the playfield. So When this pulls in, it twists it, or the other way, whatever. You get the point. It pulls this in. But this is all greased up. To the point where it's almost locked up. It's really hard pulling it out of there. So I'm going to clean it up as best I can. And then let's look on the schematics, or on an exploded drawing of this. And let me see. I don't understand. Basically, since this has to stay where it is, this has to go up. So there's got to be something on the top of the playfield between the bottom of the bat and the playfield. Let's, we got some parts in. We got the bat in. Let's see if there's a lip or something on the bottom of it that will keep it off the playfield. So here's a brand new bat. This is the part that hits the ball. There is the square shaft, and there is no lip. So this is going to mount right here. All right, but it will still be able to drop down and drag the playfield. So we got to figure out how to keep it from doing that. So, 1962 World Series. These are parts manuals on planetarypinball.com, which I believe is also pinball.com. So they own the rights to the Williams and Bally trademark for now, at least. They've licensed it. And they have copies of all of, well, not all of, but a lot of the parts manuals online. So you can just check them out. And this is the batting unit as it originally was. It's been slightly changed, and that has made all the difference. So there is the part that we're looking at. So the problem we're having is this little part here falls down and binds. You saw where I was just showing you that. So that part was originally 2A-2799. Now if you look really close, see how they talk about a cotter pin? So it was different parts. That shaft part was one part, and then you put a cotter pin through it, and it tied it into the part that attached over here, and et cetera, et cetera. So it attached over to here. It's just a slightly different part. Well, they don't make those anymore. So they eventually changed the design. When they changed the design, they came up with this part, which is what we have. This is a one-piece shaft. So we've got this, and then this bolt is bolted underneath. So this is the part that sticks up through the playfield. It's essentially upside down right now. So the only difference is really, it doesn't use a cotter pin to hold it together. And since there's no cotter pin, they changed this little part here. This little tiny part here was bigger before. And so because of that, the shaft stayed in place and just spun on the playfield. So the deck of the playfield was right there. We're upside down. Right? And this was above the playfield. And the bat mounted to that. And then a nut went right there. So that little bushing there, or that little piece, would have been above the playfield on the original one. So after they changed it to this one-piece design, since that's not bigger, and the reason for that is because you have to insert it through the bottom. So on the old one there was a cotter pin, so you put the shaft in from the top and then screwed it to all of this stuff, or attached it to all this stuff with the cotter pin on the bottom. Well, without that, you have to put this through the bottom, which means that shaft can't be wider. So to compensate for that, what they did was, on the newer units, this little bushing here that fits through the playfield was a little taller. So this is this going through a bushing. Okay? So that's what we're using, but we're using it on the old plate, the original plate, that this is a little lower. It's flush with the playfield. So ours is the one-piece version, the newer one that you can still get. It's been replaced at some point. And because it's one piece, there's no cotter pin here holding it into this bar. So because of that, you can't insert this from the top and have this bushing, or this piece here, keep it from going through the bushing. So you have to insert it through the bottom, and to compensate for that on the newer games, they just made the bushing that this goes through the playfield come up to here instead of coming up to here. So the bushing on the newer games, it sits a little higher on the playfield. Then when you mount the bat, it rides on that bushing and everything's cool. But on ours, since we have the original plate, the bushing is level with the playfield. So on the newer ones, it would stick up just a little bit more. So the bat would always be in the right spot. If I were to put it on there and that bushing pushed down through there, not only would it bind on the bottom, but the bat would rub the playfield. Okay, so it's simple enough. The way they fixed it was they made this bushing a little higher. The way we're going to fix it is we're going to put some washers on it to stub it out a little bit. And that will keep that from dragging on that other linkage that the problem we were having earlier. So time to clean, 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 clean. All right, so it cleaned up pretty good. What I use to clean stuff like this, I don't really care if they get restored, you know, or they look brand new or anything, but you know, there was grease all over the seat. You got to get all of that off. What I use to clean it, and I think this is much better. Look, it's shiny now. Is I just put oil on it. Put a little oil on it and just polish it by hand, you know. So I use this paper towel. Got all the old grease off of it. Cleaned it up pretty good. If I kept going on it, it'd probably make it look even better. I'm sure you folks will do even better than that with it. Depends on how much time you want to spend on it and how much time I want to spend on it and then charge the customer for. Now, I don't think the customer wants me to spend a ton of time on it, but and then to lubricate it, you need something a little heavier than 3-in-1 oil because now you're working with mechanical pieces. So if I put 3-in-1 oil on it, it's just going to come right off because it's only like 10 weight. So that's not enough for something like this. So we're going to put synthetic grease on it. So I use this all the time on pinball machines. I put this bleep on everything. Heavy duty dielectric. It's food grade, so you can eat it. It's clean. It's clear. No, clean, it says. All right, so this stuff works great. Get you some of this. If you want some from me, go on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. We have a parts page, and we've got stuff like this on it that we use in our videos. But I'm just going to put a little bit of that everywhere that metal hits metal. So this shaft goes through the playfield through a metal bushing. By the way, I cleaned the inside of the bushing with a paper towel too. Put a little oil on it and then snake it down through there and then just rub it all around and everything, and you can get all the old grease out. And then it leaves it lightly oiled as well. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in there. I'm going to put it in here. Same thing, run the paper towel through here to get all the old grease out. I'm going to put it all around through here where this rides on that bolt. That bolt has a little sleeve. So there's a bolt and a nut, but there's a little metal sleeve there too that you're looking at. All right? So we'll grease all that up. And anywhere metal touches metal, you want to put a little bit of grease. And if we can get this to stay up in the air so that it doesn't come down and bind, if we can get it to sit up like this, right, this thing should work great. Part numbers, so some of the stuff you can still get. And the last game that they made, that Williams made that had this kind of setup on it, or something similar, was Slugfest, which came out, I believe, early 90s. So some of this stuff you can still get because it also fits on a Slugfest. So here is the baseball bat. Got it from Marco. Now on the old ones, the little end of the bat is not there. This little piece wasn't there. They added that later. But, so you can cut that off if you want. But it's the wrong color too. So like the original ones were brown, like a baseball bat. These are black. I just leave it on because I think it looks good. I'm not going to take it off. And then there is a nut that holds on the top of that little shaft. It's a 1032, which is a little weird. I think they're normally 1024. Do I have that right? So it's a 1032, a little different. It's a nylon lock nut. Okay, and then everybody's favorite. baseball pinballs. I've had a lot of people ask me what size pinball. Most of the actual pinball machines use a pinball that's all the same size. I believe it's 1 1/8, but don't quote me on that. I may be wrong. But they're real common, so you just order a pinball and it's the right size because it's the same. But then you need smaller ones for certain games. So this particular game uses a 3/4 inch ball. And all it really is a ball bearing. Okay? Now the older baseball games, just shortly before this, they didn't use a plastic bat. They used a metal bat. And they use a slightly bigger ball. It's a 7/8. And the prevailing thought is that they switched to 3/4, made it a little bit smaller, just because the plastic bat was cracking, hitting the heavier ball. So if you've got a machine with a plastic bat, put 3/4 inch in it. If you've got a machine, an older one with a metal bat, put 7/8 in it. Or at least that's the word on the street. All right, and I'm going to put 5 in it. 5 balls should be plenty. So yeah. Let's mount the rest of this. Let's mount the bat stuff on, and we'll go from there. So I found a spacer that is about right. Put the nut on it. I still have a little bit of up and down play, which is what you want. If it's too tight, it'll bind. That way, the friction will bind it. But that raises it up high enough that that bolt cannot drag that thing that it's been dragging. It's all pivoting well, doing its thing. There is a little switch in there, little leaf switch, that when the plunger goes in, it closes that switch. So we need to see what that's for. It's adjusted right, but we need to see what that hits. All right, so one of the interesting things of working on these is trying to figure out why they did what they did. Why is this here? Why do they need this? What was the purpose of that? Etc., etc. So if you look over the schematics, there's really no easy way to do it, but eventually you find this. That says the bat end of stroke switch. That's the one we're talking about. So notice it's open, but when the bat pulls in, it closes it. That's weird. Usually an end of stroke switch is closed and it opens when you pull it in. So what would happen if that closes? Well, this is one of the motors. It's connected at rest position. And then power comes over to here through the motor relay. Blah, 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 blah. And this is just like your regular lead, right? So you're getting power up through here. And when that switch closes, you will get power down through here. And it will turn on the bat relay. The bat relay, once it's in, it has 3 switches on it. One switch is here, it'll close, and in other words, it will hold itself on. So that will keep power until the pitcher relay or the score motor turns. Okay. So why would they need a bat relay? Because they've done this little piece of work uphill. It's way up here on the 120 side. So here is the bat coil. So when you hit the bat switch, as long as the lock relay, is that right? Yeah, as long as the lock relay is pulled in, when you hit the bat switch, because you're in the middle of a game, it pulls in the coil. As soon as the coil pulls in, it opens the end of stroke switch. It closes the end of stroke switch, which turns on the bat relay, which opens this switch, which would kill power to the bat coil. So they put it in so that you wouldn't hold the button down and burn up this big old coil. So as soon as that coil goes in, its job's done, and you swung at the freaking thing, and that opens. Okay. Now, remember, if the bat relay's in, if you hit that button, it's not going to do anything because that relay's in. So how do you get where you can hit the button again? You have to pitch again. They're doing that so you only get one swing at it. Right? So, wherever we were. The bat relay's held in here, which will stay in until the pitcher relay comes on. Right? I guess if the score motor's turning, it hits that. I don't know. But, so until you pitch again, it looks like you only get one pitch. I mean, one swing at each pitch. Okay, and then they also have one down here that does the same thing on the curve magnet. So the curve relay comes in, it curves the ball, but as soon as you swing at it, it's going to open this, which will kill the magnet on the curve. Now, if it's on long enough, it'll blow this fuse. If the bat coil is long enough, it'll blow this fuse. And look at this. Bat control rheostat. Say what? What? What in the world? Why would they have that? Bat power control. Now, you might think, oh, the fix is in. Oh, I knew it. It was rigged the whole while. I started playing it in 1962, and they turned the damn power down on me. There is a control to turn down the strength of the bat, but you kind of need it. If that thing's too strong, that's a bad thing too. It'll make it where the ball bounces off the glass. You can't aim it as well. So on a properly adjusted game, you need to control the power of the bat. You might need to decrease it or increase it depending on just how that particular machine works. So it's not necessarily a nefarious thing where they made the bat real weak. And on this particular game, remember, you got to get the ball up to the other holes anyway. But I guess you could argue, well, yeah, I can do that, but if it's not strong enough, it can't make it up to the home run. Look, if the operators run a rigged machine where you never could hit a home run, nobody'd ever play it. They'd lose all kinds of money. Now, some of them probably did that. But as a scrupulous operator would have it where the thing works nice. You want it where people can hit a home run, or they're not going to keep playing the thing. At the beach, if you get enough home runs, you win a free teddy bear. Maybe not so much. They might have had them a little weak. I don't know, but we'll play it a little bit and see. Okay, so we're ready now to put the playfield down and see if the bat will swing. All right, folks, we're going to attempt it. I hope she works. I can't adjust the camera where you can see the running man. It's too big of a game. Okay, let's see if it'll coin up. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so the ramps are only lit up when you're in the middle of a game. So let's see if our pitch still works. Remember, it gets two balls stuck in it sometimes. It's looking good, although it does come pretty close to the batter. So let's see if the bat will swing. Here we go. Are you ready? Ha! It works. Hey, and look, it won't let me hit it again, like we saw on the schematics. Well, let's see what we can do. I got a guy on second. There's my run. So you've got the small bell as a hit, and the large bell is a run. That's so cool. Whew, this is a cool game. Triple, baby. All right. Wow. We got to try to hit a home run, though, right? That's how you do it, folks. I'm the king of the damn arcade. A little single action. Now, if it comes back, it just goes in the trough and back to the pitcher. You can't swing again, and it doesn't. You don't get a strike or an out, and you never did. Like the game never had strikes in it. So in some ways, it's pretty fair, really. You know. double. And also, you can play it quicker. Like, I'm going to play it a little quicker, but I'll probably end up getting more outs. But if you got to where you were just awesome at it, you could play it this fast. Oh, they're throwing it right by me. It didn't like when I played it so fast. It turned the bat off on me. Oh, I think it's the score motor must have been turned or something. I don't know. So I guess you need to go kind of slow and wait for it to do its math. Oh, I was too quick that time. I haven't gotten the outs yet, and I got 7 runs. And I got a guy on first. I got a guy on third. Make that 8 runs. Oh, come on. I got robbed. That's my first out. This is pretty cool. Nine runs. Ooh! That would have been a grand slam. It bounced off the plastic in the back. Oh, man. Out number 2. This is going downhill real quick, people. I got a guy on second, I got a guy on third, and I got 9 runs. 10 runs. Triple. 12 runs, but I'm on my last out. If I get one more out, we're done. Oh, come on now. All right, so we got 12 runs. So we still got a lot of cosmetic stuff left to do. Now the back glass, the reason it kind of has like a yellow tinge to a lot of it is because they painted the back of the back glass with, I don't know, some kind of poly back in the day, I guess, to stop it from flaking any worse. So it's just, that kind of puts a little cast on it, but it is what it is. And you can see the lights down here that we worked so hard on are acting up again. So I'll have to mess with that some more, that stepper unit in the back. They're actually on, I think, at least the R is. But I didn't mess with the actual sockets that the bulbs are in, so I think those need messed with a little bit. And we've got plenty of cosmetic stuff left to do. We have to work on our baseball stadium. It's incomplete. We have to paint the sides of the cabinet. That's incomplete. It hasn't been done right. And we just got to make the thing look better. There's the Playfield has like a red cast on the back because they painted that thing red, and there's no lights down on the bat, so we'll probably have to do something with that to get it a little brighter. So we'll just see what we can do. But and I may try to get if the pitch. I mean, I just played a game and I got 12 runs. I mean, that's not bad, and I don't even know what I'm doing. If the pitcher would throw it a little more to the right, you could probably hit it better. But I don't. It's like anything. You time it right, you can hit anything. How cool is that? The thing still works. Of course, we helped, but you know, how cool is that? All right, folks. So I hope you enjoyed it so far. We're going to do another one where we do cosmetic stuff. So give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Why don't you try to track one of these babies down yourself and fix it up? Why don't y'all try to do that? I think all of these need to be saved. I don't want to hear about one of these getting parted. I don't like when they show up with extra parts. They had an extra Playfield and an extra Mech board. I mean, what's up with that? That means one of them got destroyed. But it is what it is. Maybe that one had termites or something. You never know, right? But we've got the thing up and playing. Now it's down to tuning it and making it look better. So that's what we'll do in the next video. And you know what we're going to do in the next video? You're not going to believe it. We're going to restore the stadium. Yep, that's right. The stadium's coming back. Look at the mess that it's in. It's falling apart. Look at the supports for the grandstands. Can't have that, folks. We gotta get the stadium back. Or what good is it? So come join us next time on our merry little trip through 1962. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, you want to know how you can help our channel? Like I was talking about earlier. We have some things for sale on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. There's a link down below. Somebody was telling me I need to specify that my name has a Y in it. No, I don't. I've never met somebody with the last name Lyons that it's not spelled Lyons. Now, I could be wrong. But I don't know of anybody that it's not spelled like that. If I say Lions Arcade, you should know what it is. And the link is down below. I just said the link is down below. You click the link, it doesn't matter how it's spelled. Come on, people. Come on now. You try to make me do extra work. Come, people. If it's always spelled with a... People, it's from French. Leon. It's a French name. People. Come on now. If it's spelled with a Y always, I don't have to tell you it's spelled with a... If my name was Michael, would I tell you that starts with an M? No, I would not. I would not do that. I wouldn't have to do that. Everybody knows how it's spelled. Come on now. Go to our website. Let me slide back into this. And then go to the parts page. And on the parts page, there's a bunch of links to Amazon for little things that we use in our videos and stuff. Now, if you don't want to buy any of that crap, I understand. But the crap you do want to buy on Amazon, if you click our link first, it puts it in my account as if I sold it to you. Can you believe that? I can't even believe that they do it, but yet they do. And they pay you a commission for anything anybody buys after clicking your link. So if you do that, it will pay us a commission. And even if it's something small like a pair of socks, that's fine. Or if it's something like a sports car, that's fine. We get a percentage. So I used to say it was 3%, but it really, to be honest, it's higher than that, which you wouldn't think it would be, but it is. It averages out to it's more than that. Now, some things it's only 1%, some things it's as high as 8%, but it averages out. You make a little bit of money off every purchase. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I don't blame you. You don't have to do it. But for those who feel so inclined, hook a brother up. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you on the next video where we'll do some painting and we'll do some scenery restoring. So we'll see you then. This is Williams' 1962 World Series.